Hey guys, live in New Denver, Ernie Racing News. We're talking about the housing bubble, guys. People buying everything on credit, on debt. So nobody actually owns their homes. And what happens is you have a small little town such as New Denver and you have a 1-bedroom place with a cool little backyard, right? And I just looked it up and I'm like, well, New Denver's in the middle of nowhere. There's no jobs around here. It's just people retiring and tourism in the summer, a little bit of tourism. And I mean, how much could a little 1-bedroom house with a cool little yard and some cool neighbors, how much would that cost now on the Trudeau inflation and the liberal inflation for the past many years and this fake bubble created by the bankers giving anyone and everyone a mortgage for huge amounts, which means people keep buying homes on a value that is just not realistic at all. When people buy in Kelowna houses that are regular houses or regular street blocks, small size properties for $2 million or over, then you have a problem when those actual housing and lots should be worth $1 million or less. And now it carries over to the Kootenays in New Denver, guys. This place is listed at $527,000, over $500,000 for a 1-bedroom little house. When people like were 50 years ago, my parents, or 60 years ago, everyone's coming to Canada or they're in Canada and they're like, I want to get a house in BC. Oh, look, there's a nice property, $100,000, $120,000. There's a beautiful giant house for $250,000. I mean, just look at the states. Just look at what you can get down in Washington, what you can get in Oregon, what you can get in Texas. And then, so for $250,000, in a state such as Washington, you can get yourself a real home. But for $250,000, there's nothing to even buy in the middle of nowhere in New Denver. All because everybody is buying fake houses with fake money. Nobody actually is buying any houses. Nobody owns any. I mean, some do. But 90%, 95, 98% of the people don't own their home. The bank owns their home and they're paying just low interest for now, and back in the day when we had the crisis, the 2007, which went into 2008, mostly in the USA, the housing crisis, the bubble that burst. People don't realize that this is happening again in Canada, not the US, in Canada. Because everybody is buying houses for fake margin prices because everybody has fake money. Nobody has actual real money. Everybody's buying their home on bankers' debts. The people who give you mortgages for $1 million, when back in the day you would have had interest in the early 80s, late 70s, there was 16% interest. But it doesn't matter as much because you're only borrowing $100,000 or $200,000. Now people are paying their 6-7% interest, or when they renew, they will be paying 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it goes up to, on millions of dollars, which means $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 of interest a month, which they can't afford. So they're going to foreclose the bank. They can't pay their mortgage. And if their mortgage is a fixed rate variable, if it's a variable rate fixed payment mortgage, then their principal of their debt is going up. So, I borrowed $500,000 over the last years and I've been slowly paying off a little bit at a time. And now my debt's going up. So now I'm paying my $3,000 mortgage a month, but I'm actually $1,000 short. So it's at the end of the year, let's add on another $12,000 onto my mortgage. And if the house doesn't go up in value, the bankers won't want to redo anything, and they will come and seize your property, and it'll be foreclosed. It'll default, guys. It's called a default. So it's just really disturbing when I look up this house. I'm like, it's got to be like 200, 300, 400. No, it's over $500,000. New Denver. Ernie Racing News, guys. Watch out for the bubble. It's going to burst, guys, in the next 3, 4, 5 years. Because when the people who bought these homes at $2 million in 2 years ago, all of a sudden their mortgages will come up, and now it's going to be 8% interest versus their 2 or less. Boom. Everybody needs to sell, and everybody who has a second home that's an Airbnb or a rental, and all of a sudden the Airbnb and rental income property is now a negative. It's a loss. So they need to sell their income property that's no longer an income property. And then the housing market gets flooded with everybody's second houses. It gets flooded with people who can't afford their mortgages. The people continue to live on the streets, and more and more and more. Anyways, I'm at this cool little boat launch campground here. And here is the white whale, guys. And we're going to move on to the slow can here, I think, for tonight. And yeah, it's a beautiful little campground here.